Someone was out there throwing a spear last weekend. What did you do? Today's show is sponsored by our friends at Spartan Race. And yes, throwing a spear is part of it. There's a lot of other things going on there in the race as well. Make a public commitment, put a date on the calendar. Let's do a Spartan race together. If you use code SpartanDad, that's code SpartanDad, you'll get 25% off any race. For those wanting to race in Nashville, I have a way you can get your whole race paid for. Reach out to me. Check out Spartan Race. Use code SpartanDad. Today's show is also sponsored by our friends at distilleryproducts.com. If you are a store, you're a group, you're a blog, you're a podcast, you're a distillery, whatever it is, you need laser edge glassware at wholesale prices. Reach out to me. I'd be happy to get you in touch with the whole family behind distilleryproducts.com doing amazing things. We use them. You should too at distilleryproducts.com. Today's show is also sponsored by our friends at Orca Coolers. Whether it's the Chaser, the Traveler, the Camper, the Barrels, the Roto-Molded Coolers, be the coolest dad this summer at the pool, at the beach, camping, whatever it is you're doing at orcacoolers.com. Use code DADSEASON for 20% off your order. That's code DADSEASON for 20% off your order. And make sure you check out coming this summer. They're going to have their 10th anniversary cooler. It's going to be pretty cool. And then you can laser on that Chaser Teeny. You can put logos on there, custom stuff. It's going to be really cool. Use code DADSEASON for 20% off at orcacoolers.com. This is how we do it. It's Friday night. I'm not going to put that in there. Don't worry. What up, buddy? That's not going in there. Get past it.
I know, but I still like it. It's a lot to digest. You go in a acapella Montel Jordan that was impressive. I don't know if it was impressive or not. It was showstopper though. Damn near hit me like a 2x4 right in the forehead.
Do you want me to keep it?
I mean, other than the fact it might cause some wrecks when people first turn on the podcast, I think you'll be okay. Just make sure you're not liable. I'm certainly not. My insurance can't handle that.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards. With me, as always, is Zeke Baker. Together, we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. Did you have something else for a cold open? I mean, it is Friday night. We are spending Friday night recording together because it's July 4th on Monday. I don't know when we're going to actually get together because you have the kids this weekend. You're taking them down to Georgia. For people that need to know too much information about our lives, we're getting together on a Friday night, spending some time together, quality time. I sang a little Montel Jordan to you. I wasn't expecting to keep that in there. I just was literally going to cut that. But I mean, your reaction to it was priceless enough. What did you have planned? I know you write notes down in your iPhone all the time about what potential cold opens could be. Do you have a topic you want to talk about?
No, I never got that far because, normally you give me you got anything? I get to, thumb the Rolodex of my mind and see what's on there, anything in my phone. But when you immediately started freestyling, then every brain process I had going on came to a screeching halt.
Have you seen Top Gun yet?
No, maybe this upcoming weekend.
All right, so this isn't a spoiler. What I'm about to talk about, I really have to dissect this because I am someone, you may not know this about me, everyone, but I watch Top Gun every single day. Every day, I think from kindergarten to third grade, I probably watched Top Gun every single day. Like it was a weird thing of mine. And I had a bootleg thing. It was recorded on VHS off of Cinemax. Remember when you used to be able to record on your VCR stuff that was playing on your TV?
Yeah, that was like all our home movies were VHS with the HBO opening.
Yeah. That was my copy of Top Gun. It was on like Cinemax or something, and we had recorded it. So I would watch it every day, and then when Goose died, I would run into the living room where my parents were, and I go, Mom, Dad, Goose died. So I have like I could probably recite most of the first movie word for word. So I finally went to go see Top Gun 2. This was a big time coming because I did not get to see it, for the first couple of weeks it was out, which was a point of contention in my household. I finally go see it. This is all I got to say. It ends on the damn Lady Gaga song. I think it's Lady Gaga. Like whatever the love story song of the movie is, it would be like if Top Gun 1 ended on Take My Breath Away. And that's what the ending credits went to. Do you know what I'm saying?
Interesting outro.
Yeah. And I really have to break this apart because Top Gun, it ended on You've Lost That Love and Feeling. And they had like all the people kind of shown up on it. Went straight into Cheap Trick's Mighty Wings, which I want to put a hot take out here. I think Mighty Wings might have been the sleeper best song on the Top Gun soundtrack, maybe even better than Danger Zone.
Can't place it off the top of my head, but it might be one of those things if I heard it, I'd know what it was.
Like it was that synth going right in the beginning, like do 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 do.
Yep. Nope.
Make you take me on your mighty wings.
Yep. Nope.
No, I will send you that song after this and we could talk about it. But there was a whole thing for Hold My Hand by Lady Gaga. That is the song that it goes out on.
I mean, is she covering Hootie?
No. With a little love and some tenderness. I had a big problem with like the way that the first movie ended. And we know all the flaws of the first movie that made it so amazingly awesome in so many ways that I did not understand as a kindergartner. Like that's the thing I think I love about the whole Top Gun movie is that as a kindergartner, I loved it for fighter planes. And then as you get older, you realize like how awesomely bad, but awesomely awesome it is at the same time, if that makes sense. Like because it's everything from like Val Kilmer's biting of his teeth, telling Maverick that he's dangerous and all that kind of stuff. Like everything put into one for the first movie is just so incredible to me. So when you go to Top Gun 2, just remember it is actually a movie like with a better structure. It's still like the whole enemy does not make sense because they never could say who the enemy would be. It's always an undisclosed country, just like Top Gun was an undisclosed country somewhere off the Indian Ocean that didn't make sense because they had MiGs and they weren't anywhere near Russia. Like there was a lot of like the countries around the Indian Ocean would not have MiGs. Okay, right? Like, and then
I mean, sometimes a movie's better without too good of a plot. You know, it's good to be mindless some days and then just not think or worry.
Yeah. You can't go into Top Gun expecting to like specifically know things. You just have to know that it is an enemy. They have these awesome planes and we have to beat them. You don't have a lot to say here. I'm sorry I went on a rant on Top Gun. You were writing something down. I'm sure it had nothing to do with Top Gun.
No, I was just thinking in my head of some questions later. You know how I do when you ramble.
Did you have a relationship with Top Gun?
I mean, I've seen it obviously quite a few times. I think probably the closest, I guess, relationship I could say I had to it was in the fraternity in school. We had to, serenade people with "You've Lost That Loving Feeling" quite a few times as pledges, and that was interesting.
You are bringing just the energy tonight. You got that big Z energy. You're like, yeah, when I was in college, I had to serenade people with "You Lost That Loving Feeling." It was really cool.
You know, I mean, sometimes it takes me a while to get my feet wet.
Okay.
I'll always catch up by the meat.
All right, you're not a starter, you're a closer. So because Zeke is a closer, let me go into this press release a little bit. So we are drinking tonight. We are drinking the Masters Series from Old Elk Distillery. Yes, this came out in April. Sorry, we are just getting to it in July. But Old Elk Master Blend Series is the creation of new tasting experiences for whiskey aficionados nationwide by marrying traditional favorites, award-winning bourbons and whiskeys, and a bold sense of adventure. We have created two exquisite, unique whiskeys that I am personally very excited to share with the world, says Greg Metz. Creating some of the most celebrated spirits in the world for over 4 decades, Greg's experience is apparent in every sip. They came out with Old Elk Double Wheat Straight Whiskey. It's a combination of 2 of Old Elk's most beloved and awarded wheater whiskeys, Old Elk Straight Wheat Whiskey and Old Elk Wheated Bourbon Straight Bourbon Whiskey, creating a unique pour. The liquid yields a higher proof 107.1 and a brighter profile whiskey with fresh and crisp tasting notes and an undeniable presence of fruit. I normally don't read that. I let myself get ahead. I'm sorry I put that in there. But Old Elk's Double Wheat is doubling down on all the classic notes that make their traditional wheaters beloved. Age 6 to 8 years, mash bill is 71.5% wheat, 25% corn, and 3.5% barley. The ABV is 53.55. The Old Elk 4-grain straight bourbon whiskey is a blend of all 4 cereal grains, including corn, wheat, barley, and rye, leading to a complete profile. So this is 105.9 proof, age 6 to 7 years. Mash bill is 51% corn, 22.5% wheat, 19% barley, and 7.5% rye. The ABV is 52.95%. And the MSRP for these is going to be $99.99 for each one of them.
So the double wheat actually has a pretty relative to Old Elk products, low content of malted barley. Did I catch that right?
Yes, sir.
Because remember that's originally was one of their bigger points as far as being a differentiator. So I thought that was kind of interesting when you rattled that stat off.
Thanks. Keep coming with the heat.
I'm getting there. It's a progression. I mean, don't want to go too soon.
I feel like I came in fired up because I've been mad at myself for being low key some of the other shows, and I was already rare to go. I'm like, it's a Friday night. I get to spend it with my friend, and yeah. So Zeke, what did you think about these whiskeys?
Such an ass. Well, let's see here.
Oh, wait. Can I stop? Before you talk about these whiskeys, I just want to let everybody know this is a good time to take a break and let you know that it is that time of year. We are up for the podcast awards, People's Choice Podcast Awards. If you can, just go to podcastawards.com. Vote for us for People's Choice. Vote for us for arts and vote for us for leisure. Thank you. Continue. I want to fit this in because I know people would actually listen to it right now. You know what I mean, Zeke?
I mean, if you say so.
All right. What do you think about this whiskey? All right, if you say so. Da-da-da.
Look here now. I just actually realized I forgot about this over the course of this long-ass day. I got home before my normal morning alarm went off. That's how long I've been up today. Okay, thanks. Any rate, for the double wheat here, tasting through this a little bit, I thought it was super sweet on the entry. Only had a very light singe that faded away decently quick. The sweetness remained pretty much the whole way through. Got a pretty good viscosity towards the back. Note-wise, I would say somewhere between vanillas, kind of like a blend of milk chocolate and caramel. And something I didn't notice that I thought was kind of interesting, especially for a wheated product that normally allows the barrel to shine through more. I didn't get any oak that I could tell I was getting. I was pretty surprised in that, to be quite honest. The only kind of ding I had was it did kind of have a little bit of a chalky feel and some heat going down at the very back. But again, as far as tasting notes, everything that sat on the palate, I thought was really good. It wasn't necessarily the most complex or dimensional, but it was enjoyable by all means.
That's funny because I thought it was enjoyable as well, but I got some differences from you. I mean, definitely got vanilla on the nose. The vanilla is definitely present throughout this. The taste for me was a fruit bomb. And I know they mentioned fruit in the press release, and I feel bad I read that, but it's got tons of fruit for me on that taste, along with things that you mentioned. I was surprised for the weeder that I didn't get any heat at all, especially where this is 107.1. This didn't taste 107.1 to me. Like if I had this blind and I was in a contest, I'd be like, I think this is 94 proof, maybe at the highest, maybe 92, but I did not get 107.1. I didn't get heat on this, and knowing what our complaints are with weeders half the time, where like, hey, this doesn't have a lot of flavor, or it's too hot, or it's not right there yet. This is pretty spot on for me in the drinkability camp. I mean, I think this is a great pour, not to like skip to the end on this one. I just think it's a great blend. Greg did a killer job on it, but it's too much of a drinker for me to pay $100 for it, if that makes sense. Like it tastes more like a drinker, not an LTO in my end of the day.
I think you just mean you're afraid you would consume it too fast for the price. that bottle.
No, 100%. That's what I mean. Like, it's a drinker, like, I mean, it's a very good pour, but it goes down too easy. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I feel that way about the, Lux Row 12 years.
Yeah.
180 a bottle, and I can just decimate that in a couple of days if I don't hide it, but still good. Still going to buy the damn things. I just try and ration how often, and luckily it requires a trip to, the distillery to get them. So that hinders me a bit as well.
I think that's the thing is like you have to put this in a way that's hard to get because these will be gone in a few days. It goes down very, very easy. But it begs the question with the age 6 to 8 years where their other weeders are at. I know you're paying extra for the blend together, but do you think for $100? I mean, I don't want to nitpick here. I kind of just feel like this is maybe more of 75 for now, and if it gets another couple of years on it, then it's 100. But I don't know. Like, I still think it's good. I would still crush the hell out of it. If y'all are listening and you're wondering like where I stand on it, it's very good. I'd drink the hell out of it.
Well, I mean, food for thought here. Let's think about the most infamous weeder, the Weller line. Let's think about what, maybe not MSRP, but what plenty of folks pay for a Weller Foolproof or OWA these days. They're spending what? I mean, I think it's at least $300-$400, right?
Yeah, but I ain't buying it for that.
CYPB is like $600. Yeah, but I'm just saying in that perspective, because it's true, not everybody can find everything on the shelf. So we don't base our show on secondary, but I think it's always relevant and has a point in context here. Think about someone that wants a weed whiskey because that's what they love.
You know what, Zeke? Screw you. You're asleep this whole show, and you made a better point than me out of nowhere. But you're 100% right, so I changed my mind. $100 is great on this. Compared to what people were spending for other weeders, this is a killer weeder pour for $100. Screw you, go back to sleep.
I mean, I'm just saying there's just always angles to consider. But I'll end my rant there since clearly the point was becoming rather evident rather fast.
No, I mean, you are 100% correct. You are 100% correct. At the end of the day, I didn't think of it that way. Sometimes I need you to keep me in check. I am all personality today and not enough thought. And you are no personality and all thought. Sage, wise one over there. Thank you for making a great point.
To that note, I think we could at least, wrap the first tasting on this show with simply, yes, is it pricey? Yes, do John and I, and I'm sure countless other people always bitch about a pricey bottle, but will you thoroughly enjoy it? I think so. What's up next there?
Well, we have the 4-grain straight bourbon whiskey. It's a blend of all 4 cereal grains, including corn, wheat, barley, and rye. It is 6 to 7 years old. Mash bill is 51% corn, 22.5% wheat, 19% barley, 7.5% rye.
So, granted, I did taste the double wheat first, and it's probably somewhat worth noting for perspective here. It didn't influence my notes, but definitely kind of through my mind some. Tasting through this, it just seemed younger to me and not in like a heavy corn or, kind of those essences that a lot of, the younger craft products in the market have these days. But I mean, I felt like I was just getting, I put down young oak, but I think it's heavily influenced by oak, but not for like an extreme amount of time to get those kind of depths and layers and everything that comes with all the tannins versus what would you just get from wood, maybe. That's kind of what I got in my head, at least. Tasting wise, I didn't get a ton of stuff. I really thought it had kind of a bitter maltiness to it. It seemed kind of prickly on the tongue, and it was similar on the finish going down. And even though it wasn't anything I thought was amazing to write home about, I did think the finish hung around for a hell of a long time, whether good or bad.
Did you get some heat on this too?
Yeah. Whenever I get prickly on the tongue, it's heat to me, but it's not a burn. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like rye either. I always have trouble describing it. That's why I just say prickly, kind of like a pop rock, but from alcohol or whatever, I
feel like it was going for the roof of my mouth, but it didn't all the way singe it like a piece of like hot cheese would. But it wanted to. Like, it was getting close. It was like, if anything, it was like touching with the tips of the finger, but it wouldn't all the way go up and grab it.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, Pop Rocks is kind of what I always default to, just because something I can really equate to as an experience that I, something I had as a kid or whatever.
But I agree with you on this. Like, I'm not getting, on this one, I'm not getting the barley to take over like it normally does in an Old Elk profile. I'm getting a lot of corn on the nose, and I'm getting a lot of like corn on the taste too, where it's a little bit of a burnt corn on the taste and a young corn on the nose. But that burnt corn still tastes young. Like I don't, it's burnt, but it's young at the same time, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, to a degree. And, kind of comparing the two, since, we're doing these together on the show. I mean, 6 to 7 versus 6 to 8, that's not a huge window. You kind of wonder if, different types of barrels, Cooperage's, char levels, whatever were used, maybe they set in very different conditions for their aging. But it is kind of interesting how, especially the fact that they both have a good amount of wheat in them. And generally that's kind of where you'll get a dig like this, where the flavors that are coming through aren't necessarily as grain heavy, but like say less time in the barrels, what I always think of. But that's what I got. And just when you threw out those age statements and everything, that was one of the first things I'd written down for my notes, was like, are these aged the same amount of time? Because one just seems in such a better rounded place than the other.
Yeah, I mean, the first one slaps. Let's just be honest, that that double wheat just slaps. The second one,
oh, wow.
What?
Are we going to start interjecting slaps into our show now?
Hell yeah, we are.
Keeping up with the kids.
We're going to keep up with the kids. That's a hitter right there.
Dear God. Say banger and Beetlejuice is going to appear.
I think I said banger on his show just to see what you would say one time, and it definitely got a reaction from you.
Oh, yeah. I keep up with the catchphrases, words, or whatever.
Yeah. You're up with the kids?
I mean, you got to these days.
So, I mean, I just, I wanted to like, 4 grain's just tough. It's tough to find good 4 grains. And that's why that Buffalo Trace one, everybody loses their shit over, because it's just so hard to get a good 4 grain together.
There's definitely some nuances to it. And I don't think you or I are on the level to like pinpoint where it, veered off the road, so to speak. But yeah, something there is just not quite synergizing the way that I think you would hope it would.
I think we know what we like and what we don't like, and we just kind of leave it there.
Yeah, as always. Can't be anything but honest and fair.
Yeah. All right, Zeke. Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. Interesting to be so, I guess not you or I, but our, tastings of these, 2 products being pretty Jekyll and Hyde. But, oh, well, it is what it is. But, yeah, definitely that double wheat was just a crushable pour. And the 4 grain, I think, needs to hit that 8-year mark like some of the juice in the double wheat did. But
we definitely thank Luis and Greg and the whole crew down at Old Elk for sending us this whiskey. By no means does it influence our review, as you could tell, but if you find, and I want to thank Zeke for being the low-key hero of the show today and putting things in perspective when I needed it, and that put that whole double wheat in a great perspective for me. That is a steal at $100 compared to what other things are out there. And yes, I will probably crush it in a weekend, but it is a steal, and thank you. Compared to other things that are out there right now, especially at that 107 proof, I think that's a bold little statement, and I'm not trying to start any controversy here, but 107.1 proof. You think that's a shot across the bow?
No, it's just a lucky, convenient coincidence.
Kind of feel like but ours go to 11. Yours go to 10. Ours go to 11. It's 107.1. You're listening to 107.1, The Elk. You can find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads, Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Please leave us an open and honest review, just like we leave open and honest reviews about the whiskey we drink. Zeke, where else can the folks find us?
Good old Nashville, Tennessee.
Cheers.
Ciao.